With the week of Hanukkah coming up, there's reason to believe that the Parshios may be overlooked. So let's talk about the Parsha. The tragedy of Yosef and his brothers, the split in Klal Yisrael from the first generation. The first generation where we've got a family where they're all Jews. There's a split, they sell their brother. And it's made very clear from the Haftorahs, the Haftorah Vayeishev, that this really was the root of the eventual division of the kingdom of Yehuda and Yisrael. To the point that the Navi describes that what is going to be that great occurrence when Mashiach comes. For the first time ever, we're going to be united for real. Division in the Jewish nation. This is not just the story of the splitting of the monarchy. This is the story of the splitting of every Jewish community there ever was and there is. Yes, it's nice, every yeshiva becomes two. So many more yeshivas. Every shul becomes two. Then every one of those becomes two. It's tragic. It's tragic, we just can't get along. We can't get along with our own. On the one hand, the Maharal says that it's a sign of a certain greatness we've got. Face it, we're truth seekers. Another fact of life is that everyone has a different personality and what we call a different shorish hanashama, the root of his soul. Every soul is a different facet of the total truth. And as a result of it, every human being has a style of his own, his flavor of the same truth. It's only natural that we'll see things differently from one another. And as truth seekers, we believe that my way is absolute truth. Now, yes, there's absolute truth in the world. There's what's right and there's what's wrong. But there are lots of different colors and flavors of what's right. It's very important to know the difference. When is it a matter of taste and when is it right and wrong? You got to know a lot to be able to discern. So the Maharal says it's great. The fact that we're constantly arguing is because we are truth seekers. And we're willing to accept something that we cannot see as true. Wonderful as that is, it's tragic. The Maharal in Gur Aryeh at the beginning of the Parsha, where the Pasuk states that Yosef brought dibasam ro'o el aviem. He was bad-mouthing the brothers in front of their father. Doesn't sound good. This is Yosef the Tzaddik. Why is he bad-mouthing them? Rashi mentions he accused them of eating Aver min achai. They ate from a live animal. Arayos, immorality. Mizalzelim bibnei hashvachos. The daughters of Bilhah and Zilpah, the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, they were mistreating. They showed disrespect for. It's obvious this is not what the brothers were into. This is not just Lashon Hara. This is Hotzah Shemra. This is libel. Yosef the Tzaddik. Says the Maharal. Yes, Yosef was the Tzaddik. He was on a much higher level than his brothers. His understanding was filled with sensitivities and nuances that were beyond where his brothers saw them. The way they ate to him was like pulling a limb off a live animal. By his standards. By his standards. His concept of the way a human being eats, unlike animal. This was to be something very refined. And their eating habits to him resembled pulling a limb off a live animal. Immorality, his standards of tznius, what he considered dignified dress, behavior, was way beyond theirs. He saw them as immoral. Their treatment of the children of Bilhah and Zilpah, by his standards, it was zilzul. By his standards, it was with disrespect. So here we are again. It's his greatness that made him look down at his brothers and share that with Yaakov Avinu. All right, so the root of it all is wonderful. But that in itself is the lesson. We can't get along because we're truth seekers. Not getting along is falsehood. Not getting along is the worst perversion of truth. We're Jews, we're brothers. We can disagree, we can't hate. We can argue, but love. And then Yosef's side of it. I think this is so very real here in yeshiva. You develop sensitivities you never had before. The more you learn, the more you understand. The more nuanced your life becomes. We become sensitive. The way people speak out there makes one feel uncomfortable. The manner, the subject matter, all behavior. And the yeshiva experience can turn into transforming everyone into being critical. Critical of everyone around them. Critical of family, critical of friends. Can look down at them and communicate it, whether in so many words or through body language. We can look down at other Jews and even hate. This is the tragedy. This is the tragedy of our long, painful history. Grow. Become more sensitive. Yes. And be uncompromising in your search for truth. You're standing up for truth. But we've got to be accepting and understanding of others, even when we reject everything they stand for. Certainly, when it's only a matter of sensitivities. We've got to learn to love unconditionally. This is where the Jewish nation failed. Our pursuit of truth is wonderful. Our development of finer appreciations is something to be proud of. But the result, which is rejection and hatred, that causes destruction. So yes, grow. Grow, be discerning. Yes, be opinionated. Don't budge. But love unconditionally. No, we don't bend truths. But we learn to love unconditionally. That's what we got to take out of this parsha. Especially Hanukkah time. When we're so busy knocking the Hellenists of then and of today. You can knock Hellenism. If you wish, you can equate left-wing liberalism with everything dangerous in Yavan. But you gotta love Jews unconditionally. Unconditionally. Including the self-hating ones. And even including the Orthodox that look different than you. For some, that's even more difficult. You gotta love every Jew unconditionally. That's our only hope.